everybody, so today I wanted to discuss all things university and college and school, and just kind of give you a little bit of advice, because I know that I was really lost when I was deciding what I wanted to do with my life and making all these big decisions. I still don't really know what I'm doing in life, but I'll talk you through my story. Hopefully you can learn something from this. I went to school, obviously I went to primary and secondary school, did my GCSEs. I think I got 5 C's, 5 B's, 2 A's and an A star, something like that. So I was happy with that. My mum and dad were happy with that. In terms of revision, I did revision off my own back. My parents didn't pressure me into revising. They kind of let me get on with it. I always knew if I failed it was my fault anyway. It's not really anything to do with my mum or my dad. Or I could have my friends round and we'd all sit at the table and kind of do group revision, which I honestly find the most helpful way to revise is with other people. You know, you can learn off someone something that they understand and you don't, and then you can teach them something. I honestly think that's the best way to revise, in my opinion. But anyway, so I did my GCSEs and then I needed to decide what I wanted to do after that. Obviously after GCSEs you can go and get a job. Well, I could anyway. I don't know what it's like at the moment. I could have left, but I didn't. I decided to stay on at my secondary school and do 6th form, which we call post 16. Other options are you can go to college, you can do an apprenticeship, you can just get a job. I didn't particularly mind the educational system. I know that my brother really doesn't like it, I don't think, and I know a lot of people hate going to school. In the early secondary years I hated it, but then when I was in 6th form I really enjoyed it because I had a lot more independence and I was kind of there off my own back. I didn't have to technically be there. So I really enjoyed 6th form and all my friends were there. I had a really good group of friends. So I did law, psychology, English language, English literature and general studies for A-level, and I dropped English literature after the first year of A-level. So I only got an AS level in that, and I think I got a D. I dropped it because I hated it. I really enjoyed law. That was definitely my favourite A-level subject. I think I got an A and 3 B's, and then obviously my, what do you call it, AS level, which I don't really count. I don't put that on my CV or anything. It was a lot of hard work. I would even say that A-levels is harder work than university. I think that's fair to say, depending on what course you do. But so after A-level I could decide what I wanted to do. I wanted to go to Sheffield University to study law, for which you needed 3 A's. Obviously I didn't get that. So I went to my second choice, which was Sheffield Hallam. It's not because I wanted to be near my parents and I was kind of scared to fly the nest, because that's not true. I just kind of like the city that I live in. So I went and did law at university and I lived in a house. I tried to get student accommodation, it didn't work, it fell through. So I had to get one off my own back, and I knew that I didn't want to live at home because everyone's like, oh, if you live at home you don't get the university experience, which... So I lived in a house with 4 other girls, all of which were a year older than me, all of which were already friends. And I was going into that house because their other friend had decided that she didn't want to do the course anymore, dropped out, and they had a room free, so I ended up taking that room. Worst decision of my educational life. I would never recommend going and living with people that are already friends, because they've already got their friend group, they don't need to include you in stuff, and you just kind of get left out. Kind of spent all my time either with my own friends, at home, or by myself. I hated it, basically, hated it. So that was a big regret of mine, and at the same time I was doing law because that was my favourite A-level subject, and also it wasn't really an option for me. Everyone knew that I was always going to do law. I didn't ask myself what do I want to do at uni. It was kind of always known that I was going to do law because my dad and my stepmom are in the police. So I went and did it and I hated it by January, so that was half a year, and it was really difficult because obviously I've moved out of my house, I'm alone, and none of the people in my house particularly want to spend any time with me. I spent a lot of time in my room by myself studying for the law exams, which are really, really difficult and a lot of work, and I was in every single day, pretty much all day at uni, which is quite unusual for a university course. Where I was in all the time, and then I'd come home, not talk to anyone, make my own tea, go to sleep, and it was kind of like that every day. Plus the fact that I wasn't happy with the course that I was doing kind of really got me down, and I just realised I can't do this for the next 2.5 years. And the most difficult thing is realising that you've got to disappoint people. There's a stigma of being a university dropout. I'm very much a person where I'm not going to torture myself for 3 years for something that I don't really want. I think if it doesn't make you happy, then don't do it. So what I did was reevaluated my life. I told my mum and dad, who were surprisingly okay about it. Everyone was kind of like, okay, so what are you going to do? I actually spoke to my granny and granddad about it, and I have an auntie who works in PR, and they were telling me all about what she does, and I thought that sounds something that I'd really be interested in doing. It's something that I'm interested in. So I decided that I would change course, and I did that, for 3 years, and I enjoyed it. I graduate in November. I've got a BA with honours in public relations, and I got a 2-1. When I was doing PR, I was in, I would say, like 3 days out of 5, and maybe on average 3 hours. So it really wasn't, I wasn't there a lot at all. And obviously people are paying £9 a year for that now in the UK, which is, makes me feel sick. So I did that course and I loved it. If I hated that course in the first year, I would have dropped out again. I literally have no shame. I live to make myself happy and people around me happy. That's all that matters in my life. And then after uni, I got a PR job working for a swimwear company, doing the PR for them and social media and marketing and etc, etc. Started working there while I was at uni, and then obviously when I quit uni I carried on working there. But I recently got made redundant from there. Basically the company ran out of money. It's just one of those things, it happens. So I lost my job. Do I go and get a full-time job and move out, or like what do I do? You know, I've had a job since I was 14 and I've saved up a bit of money in that time. So I decided to not get a job, a proper job, for the next year. I'm committed to YouTube and my blogs 100% of the time. It's literally crazy. But it's also scary because at the moment I don't make anywhere near enough money to have this as a full-time job for the rest of my life. I would love it if it got to a point where that was possible, but I know that that's not possible for everybody. So while I am doing this, I've also kind of got my brain switched on, and I've got my degree to fall back on. I've got experience of working at a PR company, which is the most important thing, I think, is having experience in the field that you want to work in. I'm also starting to teach lessons and tutorials and workshops to schools and to individuals on how to set up social media websites and how to blog and how to do YouTube things. Just kind of straight up hustling at the moment. And yeah, just a few things that you should think about is going to uni. If you don't want to go to uni, don't freaking go to uni. If you hated A-level and you hated school and you hated learning things and you hated having to go and write notes and you hated all the revision, don't go to uni. You will hate it. But if you do want to go to uni, make sure you're doing a course that you enjoy doing. It doesn't really matter if your friends are going elsewhere, because my friends all went to different unis across the country and they're still my best friends. We're still as close as we were before, and that was 4 years ago. At the end of the day, do what makes you happy. If your parents don't like it, if they see that you're happy in the long run, then that's all that they should care about. They will get over it because they're your parents and that's what parents do. It's your life. This is what really annoys me. It's your life. You live this life one time, so live it how you want to live it. That's all I have to say on that. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any other questions, then please leave them in the comments and I will answer them back. But yes, I will see you next time. Bye!